I have one younger sister who has 3 kids in their early late teens. She has horrible financial sense and a ton of debt. About 6 years ago our parents passed away. They left my sister some investments in a managed fund which are worth over 300k, but she can only access a small amount, around 20k, once every 6 months. I think this was an excellent idea as in the past, when she has gotten large lump sums she has blown through it rapidly without paying off debt. Case in point, about 6 months after our parents' deaths my sister's husband passed away, and she got a life insurance payout of almost 250k, and she spent it within a year without paying down her mortgage, paying off student and credit card debt, and then got behind on her mortgage, and the bank foreclosed on her house. Our parents left me their house. I had specifically asked for it, so I could rent it and use it as collateral to buy a house of my own. It was only worth around 250k at the time and was recently valued at 320k. After my sister ran out of her husband's life insurance I let her move into my parents' house in what was supposed to be a temporary arrangement while she found a job. She was a stay-at-home mom. I let her stay for free excluding expenses. The house is relatively small, only 3-bedroom, and she has been complaining, since she met her new boyfriend, that it's not big enough, especially since she is now pregnant. I have given up on trying to get her to move out. I have recently bought my first home. I had a decent deposit but will still have a mortgage of around $250 a week. It is a 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom place so that my fiancée and her daughter can move in with me, and I will convert the extra bedrooms into a studio for my fiancée and a workroom for me. My sister has found out about the new place this weekend and immediately asked when they would be moving in. This shocked me considering I had never suggested she could live there. Obviously I refused, and she's now blowing up my phone, calling me selfish, and that her growing family need the space more than I and my idiot girlfriend and jerk daughter. I flipped my crap when she started insulting my partner and daughter and told her that I would be contacting a lawyer on Monday to arrange evicting her and that she had been living off my generosity for 5 years and I was sick of being there for her. She's obviously beside herself and her BF has been sending me angry abusive emails about how dare I kick out a pregnant woman. Am I the idiot here? If your sister spent the $250,000 of life insurance proceeds within a year or so after husband's death without paying off any debt, investing it or having anything to show where the money went, then there is something very serious going on in your sister's life. You are very wise to get a lawyer and evict her from your home place, but I would time the eviction as to when she is eligible to receive another payout from your parents' set-aside investment funds. Doing it this way will show the courts that she absolutely funds to move and would not suffer any financial hardships due to lack of funds, especially many states have stopped evictions. As far as moving into your home, hell no. With life comes choices, with choices comes consequences. Let her suffer her own lousy and horrible life consequences. Good luck. Not the idiot. The level of entitlement is crazy, and to think also, even if they were to move in it would be 2 bedrooms for them with a shared space, and that's less than they have now, unless they were planning on getting you to move somewhere else. Also, I hope the children are okay. With the death of a parent and new boyfriend, I'd check in privately with them if you could. Make sure there's no anger from your sister onto her children. You no doubt love your sister, but you are not responsible for taking care of her like that. She is. Just because she is unwilling to take responsibility for her own behavior doesn't mean that you have to let her continue to mooch off of you like that. And how did she blow through $250k in a year without paying anything towards her debts? I can't wrap my head around that. I couldn't do it myself. I can't think of $250k worth of anything that I'd be willing to buy in a year's time. I have 2 children, 16 and 15, both of whom I love dearly. I have never shown any favoritism toward them, and they both have equal chores and roles around the house. So, my daughter's laptop is really slow. I have told her that I will get her a new laptop eventually, but I need the extra money to buy my son a new hearing aid. He has severe hearing loss, and the aid helps just in case of an emergency. I have told my daughter that she can use my laptop for school, but that she isn't allowed to have fun on it or access social media. She got angry over this and said that she deserves her laptop more than my son deserves a hearing aid. I apologize for making her feel bad over the situation, but my son needs this more than my daughter needs a laptop, and I made the mistake of telling her that. She stormed upstairs and refused to talk to me for a week straight. When I dropped my kids off at their mother's, I told her about the situation and she agreed wholeheartedly that the hearing aid was more important. Just to be clear, my ex-wife doesn't have a stable job right now, she was fired due to the pandemic and can't afford much. Despite this, I can't help but feel guilty. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Health needs always come before gaming and social needs. I'm hard of hearing and have needed hearing aids since I was a kid. I'm in a country where hearing aids are covered by government healthcare, so this was never an issue for me, but I also wanted to learn American Sign Language as an alternate tool for dealing with my hearing. This is something my parents refused to find for me, and it's something I'm still resentful for 30 years later. Your daughter sounds very entitled to prioritize her entertainment over a tool for her brother's disability. I'd suggest to her, if she wants her laptop so soon, she could earn the money to buy one herself. She's a teenager, logic doesn't always apply. Sometimes you have to address the emotional part before they're able to hear reason. Example, I understand this doesn't seem fair, but I only have resources for X, and eventually we can get you a faster laptop. I wish I was able to do this for you now, and I don't like having to pick X or Y, but that's what I have to do as your parent. If she was able to see the reason behind it, I'm sure her tune would change, but their brains aren't finished forming yet. That's why kids make dumb decisions that as adults, we cringe at. No idiots here, your daughter is at an age where socialization seems to be the most important thing. But your son has a medical need. Maybe there's something you can do for her old computer to speed it up in the meantime, show her that you understand her needs. You should apologize to her for saying that your son's needs matter more, however. That was likely hurtful to her. You didn't mean to hurt her feelings or belittle her needs. And she needs to hear that. Bit of background. My brother and sister-in-law have 2 children currently, a 3-year-old and an 11-month-old. They have very recently, within the last 2 months, moved into their own place after being on the housing list for 4 years. Previously they lived with my parents and me in our already very overcrowded house. Me and my boyfriend have been saving to move in together for the past year, and I had managed to save a good chunk of money, about £900, enough to pay for my half of everything. My brother and sister-in-law currently have a CCJ they are in the process of paying off due to some bad money decisions on their part. When they finally got offered a house, they didn't have the money to pay for anything that was needed, readily available, deposit, furniture, appliances etc., so me and my mum helped them out. I loaned them £500 with a strict proviso that they would pay it back. I made sure that when they were setting out their budget that they included these repayments to me over the course of 4 months, £125 a month. This was to start. As soon as my sister-in-law started back at work, she was still on mat leave. She was supposed to be going back to work next week, she works in a supermarket. Well, they FaceTimed me today to show me a positive pregnancy test with these words: guess what, you won't ever be getting your money back. We need the money to pay for your new niece or nephew. I just hung up on them. Then called them back 20 minutes later after I had calmed down to tell them, even though I was so happy they were having another baby, they still needed to stick to the planned payback. Sister-in-law said that I was being selfish and that the money she will be earning when she is working again will be used to buy things for the baby. I got angry again and we argued for a while before she hung up saying, well, you won't be seeing the money so just forget about it. Now my family are all annoyed at me and saying that I need to forget about the money because their need is greater than mine. Despite them knowing that I saved hard for that money and the only reason I had it sitting there waiting was because I was waiting for my boyfriend to save up enough to match my contribution. If he had saved enough then the money wouldn't have been available for them to use. Me and my boyfriend had resigned ourselves to the fact we would have to wait an extra 6 months before moving out, but now it is going to be much longer because I have to save again. Am I the idiot for being angry and thinking, even though they are pregnant they need to pay me back? Not the idiot. You were never going to get your money back because your brother and sister-in-law are crap with money. Stop giving them anything and don't do anything for them. In other words, don't lend them money, don't give them money, don't buy lavish items for the siblings, and don't babysit for free. For gift occasions, buy modest gifts for the siblings. Books are almost always a good idea. But don't let them, or other family, make you pay for nappies or formula or anything. They're kids, their responsibility. Start practicing your no skills. No, you can't buy diapers just this once every week. No, you can't babysit the 3 kids for free 20 hours per week. No, you can't loan, gift the money for whatever new self-inflicted emergency comes up. They have 3 young kids when they knew before the first one that couldn't afford even one and couldn't support themselves. It is not your duty to support them at the expense of living your own life. When brother and sister-in-law ask where their baby gift is, or the Christmas gifts for the other kids, or the birthday gifts, since we need to save all our money for ourselves, just like you did, there will be no presents for the foreseeable future. People who borrow money and then decide they don't need to repay it because whatever are jerks. Never give them another dime. You're not obliged to forgive a debt because it's family. You might wind up having to write it off as a loss, but that doesn't mean they aren't entitled jerks. This has actually been ongoing for about 6 months now. About 6 months ago my daughter, 25, called me asking for money to pay off her credit card debt. This isn't the first time she's asked for money, and given she's an adult now with a child that depends on her, I decided to stop enabling her crappy financial decisions. I refused and instead offered to get her extra work at my friend's business to pay it off. She got angry at this and basically said, if I don't help support her, she wouldn't let me see my grandson. Her reasoning being that a good granddad wouldn't leave the mother of his grandson in financial ruin. I'm not going to be bullied by my own daughter, so I asked her if she was serious. She said she was. I then told her to call me when she's grown up and ready to act like an adult. That was 6 months ago. Given it's been half a year and I haven't seen my grandson, I'm having doubts about whether I'm in the right here. I have 6 other grandkids that I see regularly, but they obviously don't replace the one I've lost. Asking am I the idiot to judge whether I should cave? Not interested in relationship advice with my daughter. I know my daughter well enough to know she wouldn't accept a compromise here. Not the idiot. Your daughter is using extortion, manipulation and denying her own child a relationship with a loving grandparent due to her own immaturity and selfishness. She's a terrible daughter and a terrible mom. You say this wasn't the first time she's asked for money to pay off her irresponsibly acquired debts, and if you cave now it won't be the last, and she will learn that she can continue to use the kid as a hostage and a weapon against you. How many times are you prepared to go through the same charade? You even offered her a chance to work off her debt, but no. She wants a handout. You aren't an ATM. She is manipulating you and choosing a relationship with your grandchild and supporting her bad money habits. I would say however I do recommend trying to talk to her again. Not to fix your relationship, although that would be ideal for both of you, but to try to make a compromise on seeing your grandchild. Explain your point of view. Tell her how you feel and how your grandchild is losing a relationship as well. It may fail, but she already isn't talking to you. Might as well. It's not really about the money, is it? It's about choosing not to just be a doormat and let your idiot daughter manipulate you into doing whatever she wants. It's horrible that it's costing you a relationship with your grandson, but your alternative is not give her the money, because we all know she won't stop with just this. If leaving the mother of your grandson in financial ruin was really her issue, then taking the work you offered to get her would better support that anyway, as her having more stability of her own would obviously be more beneficial for the kid than her constantly needing handouts. I, 26, have a brother, 31, Kevin. Kevin was the golden child of the family. My parents gave him every opportunity to succeed in life, money, sports camp, cars, etc. I however was left to my own devices and always secretly thought my parents didn't like having me around. Which was confirmed about a year ago when my aunt, mom's sister, got day drunk and confessed my dad was disappointed I wasn't another boy, and they actually tried to pawn me off on other family members after I was born. This was apparently a big family secret I wasn't supposed to know, more on that later. Despite this, Kevin and I always had a good relationship. He's really smart and fun to be around, but his major flaw is that he's very lazy. He is constantly between jobs and never really puts in any effort. I once tried to get him a job at my company and he did great at first, until he stopped showing up. When I brought it up to my parents they just shrug it off and say he hasn't found himself yet. He started his own contracting company and was doing okay for a while, but once again is out of money because he only takes jobs when he wants to and overspends. He currently lives with his best friend and his best friend's girlfriend, but now they want him to move out because she's pregnant and they need the extra room. Meanwhile, I've been busting my butt and recently got a job promotion and bought my first home. My mom heard about Kevin's situation and called me up the other day to ask, it was more like a command, me to take Kevin in. I told her no. I've barely had time to myself in my new place, plus I work a ton, and to be honest I don't really trust Kevin to keep up his end of the housework or pay his fair share. My mom got angry about this. Note, I've distanced myself a bit since the conversation with my aunt. They never check on me and didn't even congratulate me on my job or house. She just went right into demanding I let my brother move in. After she told me I was ungrateful and a bad sister, I lost it. I have always supported Kevin and tried to help him. I basically blew up and told her I resent being the unwanted child they only talk to when they need me to help Kevin. This started a huge fight in our family. My mom is pissed at my aunt, who is on my side. Other family members have been blowing up my phone yelling at me for making my mom upset, and Kevin is mad because he thinks I resent him, which is what I'm sure my mom said. I don't resent him, I do think he needs to grow up. I've blocked most of the family except Kevin, who is ghosting me right now, and my aunt. Everyone thinks I'm a huge idiot for starting World War III in my family, and Kevin thinks I'm jealous and selfish since I won't let him move in. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Oh my god. I am so sorry that you are going through this. Your parents are, and I really can't stress this enough, massively entitled, cruel idiots. Give it some time, and I'm sure Kevin will cool off. He has to be aware on some level of how much better he was treated than you. He probably feels weird or guilty, even though he wasn't at fault. He'll come around. But of course do not, under any circumstances, let him move in. It doesn't sound like you and your parents have had much of a relationship in a long time, or maybe ever. Keep them blocked. It might be tough, but your life will be better without them. Your brother thinks you are jealous of him because you just got yourself a promotion and new house, and he is getting kicked out of his friend's house because they are having a baby, and your parents are mad because you are doing well and won't take him in. Yeah, that sounds completely reasonable. Insert sarcasm here. I would continue distancing yourself from the rest of your family. Hopefully your brother will come around, as you said you're close. He just has some growing up to do, and stick close to your aunt as she seems to have your best interests at heart. I think you're doing great and congratulations on your promotion and new house. Kevin needs to find himself quickly. Also, how come mom and dad don't take him in? You've worked hard to better yourself without the opportunities he was afforded. Why should you have to keep carrying him? If you have found your own place and you are paying for it, then it is just that, your place, not theirs. You say what goes, not them. You aren't obligated to take him in. Why doesn't the rest of the family that thinks you are so wrong take him in while he tries to find himself?